implement safer railroad crossing for cars. And so the problem that we've seen is that the current form of railroad crossing has been inefficient, and every 3 hours a person or vehicle is hit by a train, which is a fairly sad statistic that we were hoping eventually we could change. And a train that's traveling at 55 miles per hour requires a little over a mile to fully stop, which doesn't give you that much time when a car goes through the crossing. And when the railroad bars go down to signal the cars to stop, it doesn't give the train enough time to stop from that point forward. So it would result in a sad situation. So our concept, which we can show you here, is so we have this car approaching the railroad platform, and you can see that these are LEDs right here in front of the track that become red when the train is too close, yellow when you shouldn't go, but you could potentially if you were in a huge rush, or green, which means that you have more than enough time to go, regardless of these poles that completely prevent you from going across. And then when the car crosses the plane of the train, the rails, it hits these lasers, which go across from one pole to the other. And the first laser senses that the car has crossed the first rail and is in the crossing. These second lasers in the middle show that the car is in the crossing, and then that triggers this camera over here to show the train control room and the people in the train that are driving it that there's a car in the train on the rails, and that you should probably be concerned if it doesn't trigger this other laser on the other side. And so one solution to this system, one solution to a car stalling, is this conveyor belt system, where the conveyor belt goes onto the rails when the car goes through the laser. And we have this system implemented crudely because we don't have a lot of materials here, where it will pull the car across. When the person gets out of the car and hits this panic button, as you see, right here, so that the car can be pushed off even if the engine is no longer working, without having to have a tow truck come and to deal with all of those variables. And if a train is coming, as you can see here, the train should have enough time to see the car coming and to tell when the car is on the rails based on the laser system to have enough time to make a full stop. So our approach uses this flowchart.
So basically we have 4 systems: a surveillance system, a crossing traffic light system, a conveyor system, and a laser system. And for our laser system, it determines whether or not there's an object on the track. And for our surveillance system, it tests the legitimacy of that claim by having cameras attached to each crossing. And if there isn't actually an object there, but it detects it, a person can override it, whoever's in the control center. And then also for our surveillance system, in case there is a car stalling, there's going to be speakers there, so there's a person there to have a step-by-step instruction on what to do in case the car stalls, like whether or not to leave the car or try to allow the car to get on the conveyor belt. And then for our railroad crossing traffic signal, we base it off the basic green, red, and yellow lights. And green basically signals that the train's far enough that you can pass. Yellow states that it's not advised to go, but if you really need to go, you can pass. And red signals that you shouldn't go. And basically our car conveyor system basically gets used if the train is far enough, but if it's too close, it notifies authorities and tells them whether or not there would be an impending crash at the site.
Okay. And then, thank you. And then we have these buttons which represent our lasers.
Yeah, so pretty much we have some sort of, it's not necessarily working yet,